It's the dreaded time of month again. The first. That's when we spend all our paycheck on rent and bills. Yuck. How are we gonna make delicious meals? The wallet, it's so light. The fridge, pretty void of stuff to cook with. The answer's in the pantry. Now's the time to use what you've got on hand. Today I'm gonna show you how to keep the pantry stocked with a whole bunch of key ingredients. And we can make delicious meals like soups and stews and rices from just a few of these ingredients. Meals that are satisfying for just pennies. This is the ultimate struggle meals episode. Life can be a struggle, but a good meal doesn't have to be. We can make creative, nutritious, and inventive dishes that won't break the bank. Welcome to Struggle Meals. Since money's tight, I'm gonna use things I already have on hand. These will be perfect. And these, a nice supplement. Let's see what else we have. I can revive these. And this, I can turn into a flavorful broth. Also, there's half an onion. Awesome. I have the things to make a lentil soup, and we're just gonna start by making our broth. This could be a variety of things. It could be bouillon and water. It could be stock that's frozen. It could be a smashed head of garlic. It's just something in water that's more flavorful than water. I'm gonna bring that up to a simmer until it looks like the water is starting to pull the nutrients out of my semi-dead vegetables, which still have flavor in them. Let's get some of our vegetables chopped up. There's a number of things we can do with sad veggies like these. Obviously, we can make a stock. But in this case, I don't really have a problem waking them up with some hot oil. I don't want you to be afraid of your wilty vegetables. I think they're perfect for soups. As long as there's no mold, as long as there's no like strangely colored liquids coming out of them, they go into a soup. So I'm gonna strain out the vegetables. It's remarkable the color we got out of this. Look at that beautiful liquid. These vegetables, there's nothing left. But what I want you to realize is normally we throw these scraps out before we extract their flavor in a stock. That's not the right time to do it. In this instance, they're really, truly like free flavor. A little bit of oil in our pan. Let's come in with this onion. I used half this onion earlier in the week. It's a little bit sad. So are the celery. The idea is that I'm gonna waken up these sad vegetables with a little bit of hot oil and salt right now. This is a great opportunity to add some spice. We all have a spice cabinet. Put them in now. Let these spices awaken. I'm feeling cumin. Could I put this on the soup at the end? Yes, I could. Would it be as flavorful as if I heat it in hot oil right now? No. Now let's awaken some of our brown lentils. Giving them a little toast. Right away, I can smell the earthiness that these brown lentils exhibit. There's yellow lentils and there's red lentils. I love them both too, but they don't quite have the texture that these have. Really, at the end of the day, it's all about whatever lentils you have. I mean, they're all gonna work. They're all gonna be delicious. You dig? Coming in with our scrap-made broth. Here we go, we've got diced tomato, tomatoes in a can. They're a pantry essential. They're perfect for a soup like this. It's gonna add some color. It's gonna add some texture. It's gonna add flavor and heartiness. We haven't added much seasoning other than the cumin and a little bit of salt on the onions, and that's important. I really like to season the soups at the end. Water moisture gets lost. Salt does not evaporate away. If I get the flavor right now and it reduces by 20%, that means we've got an increase in salt by 20% in the inverse of that water going away. It's very complicated. You should just salt it at the end. So we're bringing this up to a simmer. Remember, we've got dried bulk lentils in here. They need to cook through. They take like 40 minutes. Now that this is boiling, I'm gonna turn it down to a simmer. I'm gonna put the top on and cook this until the lentils are tender and delicious. I was all the way at the other end of the kitchen, which is also the end of my apartment, and it smells great there. So I know the lentils are done. Here we go. Let's give this a little stir. Yeah, look at that. A little taste right here. Seasoning. Now, I'm looking for something a little bit heartier, and I happen to have an immersion blender, so I'm gonna blend half of this, try to make the whole thing feel a little bit thicker. Just gonna kinda... Nice. I'm very excited about this. I'm gonna make a bowl. Hearty, filling, nutritious, delicious. I'm gonna put like a little squirt of olive oil on the top because I deserve it. And let's have some soup. Earthy, flavorful, creamy, but dairy-free. I feel so Epicurean. I made a giant pot of soup. It cost me $1.94. And this serving right here is only 32 cents. That's really cheap. It's perfect for for the fact that I'm cash-strapped this week. And it comes together because of two things. One, a well-organized and stocked pantry. You don't have to have a lot of things, but you do need to have some things. In this case, canned tomatoes. You should have them. And dried lentils. You should also have those. And then the broth itself could be as simple as salt, water, and a smashed head of garlic. We didn't do that today because I had scraps from other dishes that I saved and was able to extract flavor out of them when I boiled them in water. That's right. We made a stock from stuff we would have thrown out. We got a second life out of them. Why don't we rummage around this kitchen and see what else we can make from seemingly nothing? By keeping your pantry stocked with a few basic, versatile ingredients, you'll always have what you need to whip up a quick, tasty meal. Here's what I recommend. Olive oil or a neutral high-heat oil, like grapeseed, vegetable, or canola, they're sufficient for most recipes. Gotta have acid for balance, so I find that the most versatile vinegars are apple cider vinegar and rice wine. Choose what you use most and keep it stocked. Canned tomatoes are something you'll never find this guy without because they're the base of so many hearty meals and delicious sauces. I always like to have a few cans as well as the tube of tomato paste in my fridge. By using the tube, I always have a tablespoon or two to add some depth and flavor to my meals. Hearty grains like rice, farro, barley, or quinoa, they make a hearty meal out of almost nothing. I buy in bulk and store them in jars in my pantry. And don't forget the pasta. To save money, I like to keep dried beans on hand so that I can have high protein and filling meals. I also like to have a few cans of beans and fish on hand so I can have quick protein in a pinch. When it comes to condiments, I think soy sauce and mustard are really important to have on hand. They pack such a flavorful punch, and they're super versatile. Salt, pepper, and a few of your favorite spices is enough to jazz up any dish. I think it's really important that you take monthly checkups on your pantry so you know what's running low, but also so you get ideas of what you should be cooking with. We want to use everything up here. Follow these tips and you'll always have something to make for dinner. Ed, what are you doing in here? Silly pig. You know, when I look at this pantry shelf, I don't see a barren, empty landscape. No, I see possibility. Noodles, so versatile, so filling. One of my favorite foods on the planet. Canned tuna. You were waiting for me, weren't you? Your time has come. Stale crackers? I could definitely make these into something. Ah, slim pickings. Got a little bit of milk, chicken stock. I can use these. All right, I got some bits and bobs. I know exactly what we're gonna make. Thankfully, I always keep canned fish on hand, and of course, pasta. And this is enabling us to make a tuna noodle casserole. It's a classic. I need just a few more things. Thinking onion and garlic powder, thickener, flour, packet drawer butter. And now we gotta start the base of our casserole. This is what makes it gooey and lovely. We'll get 3 little packets of butter. We're gonna get a little garlic and onion powder in with the butter. I think it's the perfect way to wake up these spices. To this, we're gonna add some flour. We're making a roux. A roux is just equal parts butter and flour. That's it. And it thickens things. And honestly, this is probably even more economical because I have like a little bit of milk left, I've got flour, and I've got packet drawer butter. So I can get that creaminess that we expect in this classic dish. All right, our roux is becoming a bechamel. All right, so I've got a little bit of broth left over from my scraps that I boiled down. Nice and smooth, no lumps. This is gonna cook down. Now it's time to cook our pasta, but first we must flavor the water. And if you've never tried your pasta water that you've just salted, now's a good time to do that. Does it taste like something? If it doesn't, you might want to throw some more salt in. The pasta's all cooked. The sauce is reducing nicely. Now let's put this thing together. So the tuna's got a lot of water in it. Obviously the pasta does too. Why don't we drain them in the same place? I mean, that's the move. Okay. And let's dump the pasta right over top. Okay. All right, this is a casserole. That means it goes in the oven. It also means it cooks in one pan. Let's get the noodles and the tuna in. Let's pour our sauce right over top. Here we go. I'm mixing this around, and the bottom of the pan has ridges, and the sound is very soothing. All right, let's cover it up and get it in the oven. The flavors are gonna meld even more. The sauce is gonna thicken even more. This means even more delicious. I think the casserole is gonna be just great on its own, but you know, I wanna add a little something crunchy because I can. So think about crushing up some cornflakes or some nuts or some crackers. I have some crackers, that's what I'm gonna do. Package raw butter. All right, the old tuna noodle casserole topping. Now, I'm really glad that I found these. They were in the back of the pantry. They were probably a little bit stale already, but I'm waking them up right now. All right, the butter's all melted, crackers are all crunched up. Let's put it on top of the casserole. Nice. You can see the sauce we made has thickened up even more in the oven. Now let's get this lovely topping of Crispies on top. All right, let's get this in the oven and get the top nice and crispy. We're not covering it this time. Look at that toasty top. Yes. Let's dig in. I'm going to take a piece with some of the crunchy bites. Oh, it's delicious. The tuna noodle casserole comes in at 45 cents a plate. I think it's kind of weird to look at it that way because this dish was made from pantry items. I spent that money weeks ago. I'm talking about pasta, I've always got it. I'm talking about canned fish, I've always got it. And another wonderful thing is that this is a hearty and delicious meal. We're low on money, but we're still eating like kings. That's what this dish is all about. You know, there's a whole bunch of things we can make during Rent Week. I got another one to show you. But first, a challenge. Now it's time for a struggle challenge. I have an abundance of canned salmon. Aside from salmon patties, what are creative and delicious ways to use up my supply? Let's see what else you've got in the fridge, and I'll come up with a prescription for all your ails. Oh, that's a lot of salmon. You must have gotten a good deal. Spaghettini, pre-cooked spaghetti, old-fashioned oats, chickpeas, we got some diced tomato, a lot of cans. We got celery, we got carrot, lettuce, red wine vinegar, lemon, rice and breadcrumbs, garlic, onion and cheddar, huevos. And up top, peas and carrot medley. Salmon has to be the star of the dish. So, according to the blood that I have flowing through my veins, which is partly Italian, cheese and fish can't be together. So the cheese, it's out. So we've got big salmon. I think I want to use up these eggs. We also have this leftover spaghetti. So I'm thinking in a bowl, we mix the salmon, the eggs, the cooked spaghetti, maybe some celery. Oh, there's a word for this. Timballo. Timballo is a leftover pasta egg pie, and we can make it with salmon. It works in my head. Let's see if it works in real life. I'm gonna make the holy trinity the base of a lot of pastas: carrot, onion, and celery. So you wanna have 25%, 25%, 50% onion. That is the traditional ratio. Fire this up. All right, it's all going in. Salt, pepper, garbanzo beans. Let's see what the salmon looks like. Does it need to be drained as well? This one has some, ooh. I'm gonna peel the skin off here. Sometimes human advancement really worries me. Oh my God, this. All right, I'm taking out the freaking bones because I don't want that. Listen, we gotta use this. We gotta use this. This is the ingredient. Never seen it quite like this before, but that's what we've got. That looks pretty bone-free, and I'm mashing it up just to be sure. Oh, it's fresh. I mean, it smells good. That's a plus. Let's see if I can crack 6 eggs really quickly. No! Ah! Failure. All right, we're whipping this up. This is our glue. All right, that's nice and mixed. Now, the idea here is that this is warm, and it will start to cook the egg. Let's dump the spaghetti in as well. I feel like this needs paprika. All right, so I'm just trying to be careful with the amount of pasta that I put in here, because I only had 6 eggs, and I do need all of those to solidify. Putting some salt in, oil. Let's get some pasta on the bottom like this. So I'm not just throwing this all in a pan and serving it. This is gonna be sliceable like a cake. At least that it is in my head. While the egg is cooking through, so I'm sort of gonna top this here, and the plan is for it to cook like 80% on this side. So I'm just gonna feel around with the spoon here. Try to see if the edge is crispy, if this is solidified. Ooh, very pleasing. Let's hit this with some oil on top. Listen, this is a struggle challenge. I have no idea what's gonna happen here, but this needs to cook on the other side. This is a little insane, but here we go. This is never gonna work. It's okay, I believe in myself. Yes, it worked, oh my God. Yes. All right, so now we wanna curl this under. Oh, I am so pleased. I do want this to continue frying, so I'm gonna give it some more ability to fry around the edge. I'm gonna put a little paprika over the top here, just because I think it's gonna look cool. Negative, it doesn't really look that cool. As this becomes solidified, it should, yeah, it's starting to move as one. Okay, here we go. Let's see if this works. Oh, I lost some on the back end there. It's like a mullet. It's all business in front, but there's just a party out of the back here. Listen, it's not the worst thing in the world. So let's see how this tastes, and then I'll grade myself. Well, it's completely falling apart now. It's fine, really. It's not bad, but I'm certainly not lusting over these flavors. I probably could have done some more things to make this taste a little bit better, but I would happily eat this entire thing for dinner and be satisfied and happy. So I think that gives it a solid 7.5 in the flavor department. Now, I was a little more ambitious in the looks department with this whole situation here. If this had turned out into a solidified pie like I wanted, I would have given myself a 10. It would have been a marvel of my cooking skills, but that didn't happen because my skills aren't quite there yet. So maybe this was a little bit too ambitious, but it does look so cool and it is perfectly toasted. Let's go with 7. So we're going with 7 and 7.5. We got a 14.5. It's like a C-. That's exactly what I deserve. I deserve a C- for this dish. This is a great dish to have during rent week. It takes leftovers, it essentially binds them together with eggs, and it turns them into a one-pot dish that you can slice like a pie. Thank you for this challenge. It's been illuminating for me as much as it has been for you. You know, it's getting a little bare in here, but I'm creative. We can still make a delicious meal. We've got rice, it's the most versatile of all pantry ingredients, and a can of tomatoes, or tomatoes. I can make something with these. Certainly slim pickings in here, but an onion is always handy. Let's see what's upstairs. It's the jackpot. We got some green peas. This is all we need. All right. I think the move, obviously, is to feature the rice as the central ingredient. It is, after all, one of the most important pantry items that you should have at all times. So versatile. And with the tomato and the onion, we can make a nice base. We'll put some spices in there. We'll finish it off with the green peas, and we'll have a spiced tomato rice. Let's chop some onions. I don't know if these goggles are gonna work, but maybe the placebo effect will happen. I mean, onions are, here they are. I have a love-hate relationship with them. I hate them while I'm chopping them, but I love that I always have them. And you should have them on hand too, because almost every single homey dish starts with an onion base. Oil. Onions are simmering in the pan. Now's a great time to get some spices in there and awaken them from hot oil. I say cayenne and cumin. Very nice. Rice is one of the most versatile bulk ingredients. I mean, you could add cheese to it, you could put it in a soup. It can be a side with proteins if that's what you have. This is something you should have. I mean, it pains me to say this, but I'm gonna say it. Rice is more versatile than pasta. So let's get our rice into the pan. All right, we've got some translucency, real nice. This is not a tomato spice rice without tomato, so let's get the tomato in there. You know, tomato's a great thing to have on hand also. I always have it in my pantry. In this instance, it's adding a bunch of flavor instead of a broth. And let's add some water in there. Once the rice comes up to a boil, turn it down to a simmer, cover it, and let that rice cook all the way through. So, the rice is fully cooked through. Now, I've got these frozen peas, and the idea is to throw them in with the rice and just let them warm through. I'm just gonna cover this again and let it cook for just a few more minutes. Dinner is served. Okay, here we go, the rice. Oh yeah. I'm giving myself a nice big old plate of dinner tonight. This is our big ticket item tonight. Comes in at a whopping 79 cents. That's under $1. It's completely crazy. I can't wait to dig into this. Spiced rice, tomatoes, and peas. Here we go. You know, because I always keep my pantry stocked, I always have the ingredients I need to make a filling meal. Now today, rice, the most versatile of all dry bulk ingredients, was the star of the show, and it was supplemented with canned tomato and frozen peas. But if you had some fresh vegetables or fruit or even some leftover meat that you wanted to throw in there, go for it. Again, rice is super versatile, and the point I want to make is that even when money's tight, we can make a filling meal thanks to this wonderful bulk ingredient. So there it is, my fellow strugglers. The rent week, when we don't have a lot of money to spend, can be solved with just a few things that we need to keep in mind. The pantry, it's gotta be stocked. You have meals waiting to be created, and they're not gonna expire quickly because this stuff is shelf stable. You saw it happen right here. I made 3 amazing meals, pretty much from the pantry, the freezer, and what was left in my fridge. I know you can do it too. It's just about thinking outside of the box of pre-made stuff, that is. And with that note, my fellow strugglers, let your wallets be light, but your bellies heavy. See you next time. Welcome to Frankie's Corner, where I answer your questions. Jess asks, help me settle this debate at work. Ooh, I love a good work debate. Does cheese belong on tuna fish sandwiches? It's a great question, and the answer is, it depends who you ask. If you ask the Italians, they say absolutely no cheese on fish ever, no exceptions, end of discussion. The Consortio of Parmigiano Reggiano will come and arrest you if you combine cheese and fish, as if this were some sin that we're all going to hell for. But you know what? If you think it's delicious, go for it. Just make sure you're not in Italy.